Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie, and we're super excited to have you here today with us.
We've had a difficult week, both of us, I would say.
That is an understatement.
So we're having a special wine and webcomic night.
How fun.
How fun. We've been reading. We discovered something that we're both very excited about. One, we are both published poets.
This is true.
Two, it's in the same book.
From when we were children.
You were 9. I was probably 10.
Yeah.
And we just discovered this about ourselves, that we were both in the same book. We're not from the same town, so it was a statewide thing that we both ended up in.
I swear to goodness, it is the coolest fact I've ever learned about our friendship.
Tell me that you're destined to be friends.
Yeah, tell me without telling me that it's a fated romance right there.
We
Best
are the
friends.
fated romance.
Yeah, what a good trope, too.
It really is.
Look at us.
Well, we're not just here to talk about our own fated romance today. What else are we talking about?
This is very true. So today we're super excited to just kind of dive in with you all. There are some really exciting titles that are coming back to, from their breaks or their hiatus here in November, as well as some new releases during the month. So this is just kind of a new in November deep dive to give you all just some titles to look forward to or to get started on.
Yeah. So the first one we're going to be talking about is a favorite among the Manta Reddit. It's I've Become a True Villainess. I would say favorite and also favorite to hate. Like, it goes both ways. People love to hate this one, but also love it. We all love it.
It's true. There are a lot of people who are upset with the slow burn kind of aspect.
It has been a very slow burn, but I will say it's coming back on November 9th. It's on Manta. There are 53 episodes out right now. If you have not read it and want to catch up on those 53 episodes. It is worth it, I promise. So we've talked about I've Become a True Villainess a couple times, so I won't get into overall story details, but just to catch you up on what's happened in the most recent couple of episodes. So in the last 2 episodes, Saria is talking to Rouge, and they've been kind of having trouble because their marriage has just been approved by the Emperor, and Saria is not as happy about this as Rouge would like her to be, and she is trying to hide it, but not doing a very good job.
Not at all.
Not at all. And so Rouge finally confronts her about this and is like, why aren't you happy? Like, what's going on? And it comes out that she feels indebted to him because he saved her when she was about to die on their wedding. That's why they got married, is because she was going to die if she wasn't married. Like, it was part of the ceremony. It's like a part of she's a siren. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know if it's a stern.
Yeah, she's a stern.
A stern, not a siren. But so she's a part of this process. She has to get married, and Rouge is like, well, I guess I'll marry you because I don't want you to die.
And Lord Callus is off.
And Lord Callus is off with Lena. And so finally it comes out that Rouge is like, you think that I'm going to fall in love with Lena like Callus did, and that is why you're worried. And she's like, yes, that's exactly what I'm worried about, because that's what happened. And I know this is a novel. You don't know, but I know it's a novel, and I know that you're supposed to fall in love with Lena. And so I'm worried that's what's going to happen.
It is good that Rouge is so able to read her, because she is not very good at expressing herself at this point.
No, she's not, and she's so cute. I love her. In the most couple of recent episodes, she is so cute. Rouge is perfect. He is the best male lead. He's one of the best male leads of all time, I would say.
I would say that's a pretty good statement.
He's a great male lead. So we finally, all of us can breathe a sigh of relief that we got to the prologue episode a couple of episodes before the season finale.
Yeah.
And then in the season finale, they actually go to the Capitol And Rouge goes to visit the Emperor right away. That's why they're there. So he goes to visit the Emperor. And Saria goes to House Burke in the capital. And she goes into House Burke and she's like, this is barren. Like, why does it look so barren and awful? And she's told by the house staff that the reason that it's barren is because Rouge spends all his time at Burke Castle, and so he doesn't visit the city often, so they just don't put much effort into it. And so she's like doing all these things like, oh, well, I can decorate, I can like put my spin on this house and like make it lively, make it home, and like do that for me and Rouge. Mm-hmm. And so she's going through and she finds this painting that is of Rouge's illegitimate brother, who was Rouge's dad's like favorite son, and like Rouge is not anywhere in this painting at all. And she basically is like, why is this here? Like, this is not representative of the house that I want. So she's like, take this down, replace it with the Laurel Manor that Rouge grew up in, and like puts a nice painting up and is just like starting to like make this a home for both of them. And it's so cute. I just love her so much. She's so sweet. She just is the most cute female lead ever, and I just absolutely adore her. Rouge, meanwhile, is with the Emperor. He has taken his forces, his like army. He's withdrawn it from wherever they were, which is like somewhere in the west. And so there's some kind of war going on that we don't know much about, but Rouge has withdrawn. He's like, my soldiers have been away from their families long enough, and they need to come home. And he's being advised by his advisors that this is going to cause issues with the other nobles. And that's kind of where we leave off.
Yeah.
So, new season coming out on November 9th. I'm super excited to see what happens with Rouge and Saria. I'm sure that Lena and Callus are going to come back in soon. They've been out of the picture for a pretty long time. Callus for a decent amount of time. Lena has been gone for a long time. I'm just waiting for the bomb to drop when she comes back.
I'm not. She could stay out of the story the rest of the time and I would be perfectly fine.
I mean, she really could. Like, I don't want her to come back, but I just know that she is. So she's kind of like a rain cloud hanging over us.
Honestly, I mean, she has to come back probably to propel the story forward. And to be honest, she's a very well-written villain. You love to hate her. She's awful.
She is awful. And she just like, you really do love to hate her. Like, I remember the last time she was around, like, she just makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's the worst. Like, you just want to be like, you can leave.
She does her job.
Yeah, she really does. So, if you have not read I've Become the True Villainess, catch up before November 9th. You've got a few days left.
I know.
That's it. And then follow along with us. This is a great story. It is worth the slow burn. The main characters are just incredible. I love the story. I love it.
I know. Honestly, it's amazing. I do love that one a lot. So, kind of moving into another story that I love a lot, which I have had to go without for an extremely long time.
A long time.
Another story that's come back here in November is Totem's Realm. For anybody who is a long-standing Manta fan, this was one that is extremely popular. And
Annie, how long has this been on hiatus?
So I may or may not have done the math. It has been 355 days. So almost a full year since this has been updated. It's in season 2. There are 84 episodes as of right now. And a few of those are just episodes kind of letting us know about the hiatus. Unfortunately, the author had quite a few health issues. And so very glad to see the series coming back, hoping that the author is in better health and just, overall doing a lot better.
I mean, health first. We all want these stories, but we just want healthy, happy people.
Exactly. And honestly, what a better story to come out in general. So extremely excited for this release. If you have not read Totem's Realm before, it is not something we've talked about here on the podcast. However, to give you just a brief synopsis, the story essentially follows Syrah. She is just a regular, like, corporate working woman who ends up working for kind of just an overbearing boss, who forgets all of his papers while he's doing this, like, nice remote job on an island. So she is then tasked with taking her boss all of the papers that he forgot. And as she's en route with essentially this, like, boat captain by himself, the boat captain decides that he's a really skeezy a-hole.
Oh, no.
And he wants to take advantage of her. So as they arrive on the island, he essentially goes to force himself upon her. And as soon as she kind of comes to, she realizes that he's been murdered by this native tribe on the island. So she is completely lost, has no idea what's going on. And essentially, this is like a Tarzan and Jane kind of story, but also a reverse harem. So it's an extremely wonderful story.
I love a reverse harem.
We love a reverse harem. Syrah is a wonderful character, and so is Shaka, the male lead. You just have to love him, and the way that their relationship grows. Season 2 has had already a lot of twists and turns. Obviously, we already know that she is chosen by the god Kudu. She is basically like the chosen woman. And so that's kind of why all of these tribes are gravitating towards her. But if you are already caught up and just wanting a refresher before you start back in with the series starting back up after hiatus, we're basically left off with Syrah having been stabbed, and she wakes up with a new tribe, which is actually the Sibakani tribe, which we've heard a lot about but not seen much of in the series. Essentially, they took her in after being injured, and she essentially notifies them that their tribe chief is dead. She assumes that this is going to be extremely detrimental news, and essentially that's not the case. They kind of just are excited. They say that they've been under orders from their tribe chief to be taken advantage of by this other tribe, and so now this has kind of been a freeing moment. And so she's about to meet the leader of their tribe, who has now resumed that position after their tribe chief was no longer, found. And so we're going to kind of get to see what the Sibakani have in store for her.
Yeah, that's interesting. This is honestly one that, like, you and I have not talked about even outside of the podcast, really.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably because it's been on hiatus so long, like, it's just kind of fallen off the radar altogether.
True.
I know you've mentioned it before, but we just haven't had much explanation, so it's interesting to hear about it, like what the story is actually about. And how many episodes did you say?
As of right now, there are 84 episodes.
Okay, so not too bad if I wanted to catch up before it goes back live.
I mean, if you're crazy like us, you can absolutely get caught up. But again, it's back with us here on November 5th, so you can go ahead and get started from start to finish, or you can just go ahead and continue from where you left off. And hopefully you'll join us on that fun adventure.
Yeah, I may have to join you on that one. So another one that I know that this is a webtoon.
Yes.
One that you have read on Canvas. It is now a webtoon original. So it's brand new. So some of these are coming from the new to webtoon originals that we've seen. But 2 of mine are. But this one is called I'm Dating a Psychopath. It's on Webtoon. It releases on Saturdays. There are 3 episodes out. It's a thriller. So very, very good. The first 3 episodes have me so gripped. It's just, it is such a good series already. I've got so many different questions going on already. So basically, it opens with a man who's working on a construction site. He just happens upon a dead body in this construction site. It's, your typical, like, Criminal Minds kind of intro where the man doesn't really matter so much. He's just, like, there to find this body. Like, that's his only role. And then it cuts to the main character, whose name is Finn Lewis. and she is talking to a couple of her other friends. She sees this story live on TV. So she's seeing like a third body has been found. Like, we've officially said that this is a serial killer. And you see her kind of say, like, her friends are talking to her and they're like, oh, wow, this is so scary. This is happening around us. Like, we should stick together. We shouldn't go out alone. And she's just like not paying attention at all. Couldn't be bothered. And so they're trying to talk to her. She's not paying attention. She's looking at this TV where they're talking about the murder that just happened. And she's saying to herself, like, it's him. I know it's him. And you're like, she knows who this person is? Like, does she know who this serial killer is? And you don't know if she knows who it is or not. Because then it cuts to her at work. And so she's kind of working. She's with her manager. She's listening to a true crime podcast as she works, which I've got to say, I have done. I work in an industry where I can listen to podcasts if I want to. There are things that don't require my full attention, and sometimes I do love to listen to a good podcast or two. And so a true crime podcast is very popular. But it's funny because her manager is like, you're weird, you listen to true crime podcasts, it like turns people off of you, you need to be more friendly, you need to be more open, you've lived here for a couple of years, like, you're not making any friends, what's wrong? And tells her, like, you need to be more like this guy, and like points to another guy who works at their company who's like pretty new. And she calls him a psychopath. She's like, I don't know this guy, but he kind of seems like a psychopath. Like, he's charming, sure, but like, it's just an act. Like, he's shallowly charming, and that's pretty much it. And so then it cuts again. Like, there's other things that happen, but it cuts again to her walking home. And this guy from her work is following her home. And so she turns on him after a while and is like, pulls pepper spray on him and is like, why are you following me? What are you doing? And he's like, I live here. This is where I live. And turns out they're next door neighbors. So they're both about to walk into their houses. They work together. They're apparently neighbors. He has just moved in. And he proceeds to tell her that he knows her name. He knows her birthday. He knows her, I can't remember everything he knows. He knows her age. He knows that she loves true crime. He knows all of these different things about her. And says that he moved in to this apartment because of her. And she's like, oh, so you're a stalker. And then he's kind of like, no, like, I thought you would think it was romantic. I kind of thought that this was like fated love, but I'm also happy to see that you don't believe in fated love. Like, it seems, that's too much. So I'm glad that this is how it goes. And she's just like, okay, I'm going inside now, like, not bothered at all. And so they both go inside, and then the next day, well, she has a dream at night, and it kind of seems like he's in her dream, but as a child. And I don't know. I mean, it looked like him. Yeah. I don't know if it was. And then it cuts to kind of what you would think. It seems like first person point of view of her being like beaten up by someone. And so you're like, what's happening? And so she wakes up, she's late to work, she's getting ready. It cuts back to work. It's her manager and the guy talking. And he confesses to the manager that he was messing with her, that he pretended to be a stalker, and that he said he knew all this stuff about her. And that she's probably, like, it affected her more than he thought. And so it kind of goes from there. Like, so then he ends up confronting her and saying, like, I'm sorry I messed with you. Like, that was kind of shitty of me and I shouldn't have done that. And she's like, that kind of sucks. I thought you were a stalker. I thought my life was about to get interesting. Like, I'm a little disappointed. And then the very last scene, there's 3 episodes out. All of this happens in the first 3 episodes. And it points out that he says, like, I finally found you at the end of the 3rd episode. So she had a dream where they were both, like, it looked like she had seen him as a child. Mm-hmm. He said, I finally found you. So it seems like they knew each other when they were young. It's called I'm Dating a Psychopath. Who is it? Is it her? Is it him? Is it both of them? I am so excited about this one. It's a thriller. I probably said that at the beginning, but oh my gosh, it's so insane. It's only 3 episodes out so far, but I cannot wait to read more.
I will say, so I did read this one on Webtoon Canvas. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, I'm so excited for this to be original series because, one, it was already so wonderful. It's essentially just revamped and re-released.
I have to ask, okay, so from what I described, you have not read the Webtoon original. I haven't read the Canvas. But from what I described, is it close?
Yes. Extremely close.
So you kind of know what I don't know right now.
Yes.
And you're not going to tell me.
Absolutely not.
But I'm so excited.
What kind of a person would I be to spoil a thriller for you? That is like your whole thing. I will say this series is phenomenal. It was not completed on Canvas, so it actually got picked up before they finished the story and the releases. But I'm excited for everybody who joins in on the journey. It's a really good story, and the art is great.
Yeah. If you haven't read it, it's a great time. Pick it up right now. There are only 3 episodes out. The episodes are a little bit long, but if you start now, then you'll be caught right up, and it is so interesting. The characters' eyes, all of their eyes are just, I mean, they just draw you in. The whole thing is just amazing.
It's great. And honestly, the wonderful thing about thrillers is just kind of making up your own theories as you go. Mm-hmm. So I love it. I'm so glad you're getting into this one.
So excited. Yeah. And I can't wait to talk to you week to week about what's going on in this one. And you kind of knowing and having that knowing smile that you have right now.
Right this moment. It's the best. Why not?
Yeah.
But super excited for you to join me on the journey. And at a certain point, we'll both be surprised.
We will.
So it'll be fun. So hopping right back to another series that is actually starting back up with season 2. We have Ingram's Lantern on Manta. This has now 34 episodes. And it now releases on Tuesdays. Now, a quick note, this does have a new artist, and the art is notably different. Mm-hmm. So if this is something that you were extremely gripped by season 1, it might be something you kind of have to adjust to. But this is a story I love, just the actual plot in general. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it's not something that deters a lot of the readers.
What did you think about the art switch? Because that happened to me in the Dark Knight Journal, where the art did change and it was an adjustment.
I think it's going to be an adjustment. I will say it's hard to tell because as of right now, recording, we've only read 1 episode with the new art style.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to figure out how I'm going to feel about it moving forward. But I loved the art to start with. So that is just a hard place to be in where you're like so adjusted and then you kind of have to like reconfigure it in your head almost.
Yeah.
So for anybody who has not read this story, it is a fantasy romance. And to give you just kind of a backstory, you open up with Asha, who is our main character, having a conversation with Kiltz Iskadion. They're both just kind of having tea, having a normal conversation. And essentially, she's telling him this dream that she had, where she's basically on the brink of death. And her soul has left her body already. She's basically watching this from somewhere else. And as he holds her, she basically is comforted by the fact that she's drifting off in his arms. And then he just goes...
In the dream.
Yeah. And then he just goes chasing after her. Essentially, she just goes, I don't have prophetic dreams. These are just the dreams that I have, and I wanted to tell you about them. Mm-hmm. And she says, will there ever come a time when you're in love with me? And then it just kind of cuts to the past. So as that started out, I was immediately gripped. And you find out that essentially Asha grew up with this abusive father who doesn't love her whatsoever. She just kind of does everything for him, cleans the house, does all of these menial chores. And she goes to pick flowers for her dad to try to like cheer him up essentially. And she stumbles upon Kilts in the field, and he's seemingly unconscious, but he's crying. And so as she goes to check on him, he immediately springs up and he's checking on her to make sure she's okay, and she runs away. And so she goes and takes the flowers back to her father. He's upset with her because she wasn't home doing chores. And magically, Kilts appears at the house and presents a bunch of money to the father and goes, I will give you all this money for your daughter. I want her.
What?
And the father immediately, like, he's just ready to give up on his daughter. And Kilts goes, well, we have to do the negotiations. Have you ever laid a hand on her? Have you ever called her names? And he starts taking money away from the pile for every wrongdoing that he's done to her. And so ultimately he's left with like pocket change is what it looks like. And the dad ends up giving her away anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So she goes on this journey with him. Essentially, he saves her multiple times. He gives her new clothes. He gives her room and lodging, her first like warm bath ever. And she's just terrified, honestly, of the debt that she feels like she's going to owe this person.
Yeah.
Because she's never known somebody to treat her well. So he continues to assure her, he's like, I'm here to give you literally anything that you need. You just tell me what it is that you want and I'll give it to you. And she doesn't ask for almost anything. She asks for like a doll because she's like a girl who grew up with nothing. So what do you ask for? Like, you need nothing.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, they stumble across a few different people on their path. And once they get into this neighboring town, they end up running into this Duke Kaiser and Altinum, which are essentially two of Kiltz's enemies. They make it very clear that they're trying to kidnap Asha, and he makes every effort to ensure that that doesn't happen. So he essentially teleports her away. He goes, I'm going to be fine, but you don't need to see this. And he just teleports her somewhere else. She's terrified. She's already like, I'm with this strange man. I have no idea what's going on. Now I'm somewhere else. I don't know where this person even is, who's supposed to be taking care of me, etc. And she essentially grows up in this house with Hazan, who is, she calls him grandfather. He's basically like an older friend of Kiltz's, and they like owe each other favors. And another child who is also a mage, and his name is Fram. And essentially, she ends up convincing Kiltz to teach her magic. And as she grows up, she goes to this magic school to be among like all of these kids the same age. Kiltz is extremely protective of her, and it does insinuate multiple times that she looks like somebody from Kiltz's past. And we don't know who this is, but we know that somehow they're connected to each other. Like, there is a reason that Kiltz is so protective, etc. But she goes to this school, she excels, she's like second in her class. And slowly but surely, you kind of piece together that there's something special about her. Like, there are insinuations that she's not noble, but she looks exactly like a student who is the grandson of the dean of the school. And it's insinuated that the dean, if he ever were to lay eyes on her, that he would know who Asha is. And so she goes to the school, she excels, and honestly, a few different classmates are kind of like head over heels with a crush on her, and she just kind of is oblivious to it. She's just sitting there like, I don't want to do my final paper because it says I have to dissect a dragon, and I want to hatch it instead, so she does. And essentially, we're left off with her going to a spring dance and getting ready to go back home to see Kiltz and the rest of essentially her family because she has no one else.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a really sweet story. It is one of those ones where, I mean, there are multiple people who have been presented as a potential love interest. And I mean, I have my own theories, and I definitely think that her love interest is Kiltz, who's kind of this like ageless mage. But I don't know. Maybe some other readers have different opinions and they can sway me. But those ones where people like raise somebody who eventually becomes their love interest, it never sits right with me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting plot that we've seen a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't read this one, but it sounds interesting. I'll definitely have to read it eventually because it sounds interesting and I love dragons. So I'm all about the raising the dragon.
I will say the baby dragon who's named after snow, her name is Eitz.
Aww.
And I will say she's precious.
Super cute.
Very, very cute.
The star of the show.
Yes, exactly. So if you haven't read this story, go ahead and get yourself started. Again, 34 episodes. If you've already started the series, I'm sure you're probably also kind of having the, trying to adjust moment to the new art style. Mm-hmm. And I will say I'm going to continue to dip my toe and just try to kind of get used to it. But it's a really great story, so I would hate to drop off for something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the one that I think of when I think of the switched art style is the Dark Knight Journal, which I have been reading for a while, and it did, there was a very clear shift in the art.
Yeah.
And I went and I showed you, I went back and I showed my husband, I was like, he doesn't read webcomics really, but I was like, look at this art, and I'm flipping through all of the scenes, and then I go, and look at this, it's different, and he's like, yeah, it's different.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. No, I will say, it can be very jarring, and it's not even necessarily that the new art style is bad.
It's just the difference.
It's the difference.
You're used to something.
Exactly.
It's comforting to you. You're used to seeing the character in a certain way, and when they're not portrayed in that exact certain way, even if they have the same air about them, it doesn't feel exactly the same.
Yeah,
it's an adjustment.
Yeah, it's an adjustment. You're accustomed to the specific style in the first place, so it really is an adjustment. You're almost getting to know the story in a different light.
Yeah.
And it can feel like a different story.
Yeah.
But I will say it's one that I really like reading so far. And so I'm hoping that, I'll kind of adjust to the little switch here soon.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's easier, too, if you have a couple of new episodes to start. So maybe I'll give it a couple of weeks and then try it out.
Yeah. It's a good one. And honestly, it's really easy to read. So highly recommend. If you're not already started, I know it can be kind of, a little intimidating to jump into a new series when it's starting a second season. But 34 episodes is manageable.
Not too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not looking for a romance or something that has a continuing season, then you might want to try The Tide, which is something that I just started. And this is also on the new to Webtoon, but this is different. It took me a minute to get it because you click on it. It's actually, you can read the first 10 episodes and then it's a daily release. So it's a completed series. If you wanted to read the whole thing right now, you could do it with coins from Webtoon, but it is, I think, just new to Webtoon original, meaning that it was previously a canvas and now it's been made into a Webtoon original.
Interesting.
So I have started reading it because the premise just gripped me when I first read the description of this one. It's on Webtoon. There are 91 total episodes plus episodes
Yeah,
plus an epilogue. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Episode and epilogue.
We were close.
Published poet.
It's okay. You don't have to speak to be a poet necessarily.
Yeah, that's true. So it's a completed series. It's a sci-fi series, which I don't think I've ever read anything that has been described as solely a sci-fi. Have you?
I have.
Okay, I've
read
not,
a couple.
But this was my first one. The art is interesting. It's different, I will say. It's not beautiful. The art is good.
Yeah.
But it's not we love to read things that we're like, this is beautiful. I love looking at this.
I know.
That's not exactly what you feel when you start to read this one.
Does it fit the story?
It fits the story.
Okay.
It's good. It's kind of I would call it, I want to call it rough. It's not it's a polished art, but it feels rough, you know? And so basically what this is it opens up and you see it's like kind of military operation. Everyone is in line. They're trying to get water. So everyone has their jugs. They're trying to get their water filled. There's this old lady and she's like, please just give me half a jug more of water. That's all I want. Like, my husband is sick. I need to take this water to him, please. And you see people behind her being like, get out of line. Like, you've got your ration. Like, you need to leave. The rest of us need our rations. And you kind of get from it that it's every man for himself.
Yeah.
Like, this world is not a kind world at all.
Oh.
And so then, like, she kind of moves on. She's like, I'm not lying. Like, my husband, he really does need this. And you just feel bad for her. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes up and he's got like Molotov cocktail. Like, he's got a bottle filled with gasoline and the lighter fluid. And he's got a lighter. And he's going up and he's like going up to this guy. And he's saying like, I didn't get my ration. Like, last time you ran out of water. My son is sick at home and I need my ration.
It's so sad.
It's so sad. Like, it's apocalyptic. They live in an apocalyptic world. And so you see him, like, they're trying to talk him off the ledge. They're like, it's okay. You're going to get your ration. Like, it's fine. He eventually agrees. He's like, yeah, you're right. It's fine. So he puts the lighter out and then he gets tackled. And somehow, like, in the scuffle of things, like, he gets set on fire because he's holding this basically bottle of lighter fluid, and then somehow the lighter gets relit. And so he's burning. There are people around him with jugs of water, but water, you know from the intro sentence, is a precious resource. They're not going to give their water away for this man who threatened them. But it's like, it's tragic because you can see the people doing bad things, but you're like, you were desperate. You're in a desperate situation. It's not like you wouldn't have done this unless you were desperate. Ugh. And so it's heartbreaking. And so he is on fire. Then he just, like, you see in the background behind the military people who are doling out the rations of water is a whole lake of water. And you're like, okay, there's a lake of water. He's rationing out water, but it seems like they have enough water. And so this guy who was on fire, actively on fire, which is, by the way, one of my greatest fears since I was a child. I mean, I'm sure I'm not alone in that. That's probably like a pretty common fear. But he jumps into the water, and then you see from underwater all these fish, and it's not your average Joe fish. These are like huge fish, like bigger than the person. And so he gets in the water. He is not on fire anymore. He kind of puts his head above water, and then he's eaten.
Oh my gosh.
By a fish who is huge. Like, these are whale size fish. And so then it is explained to you that water is not a scarce resource, but the fish have overtaken the water supply. So if you get in the water, like, they will eat you. If you get near the water, they will eat you. When the tide comes in, the fish are trying to kill you and eat you. Like, they have a homing beacon for the people, and they're like, I'm hungry for a person.
Talk about eat you. Nightmare.
It's incredible. And the art of the fish, like, the people, it's not what you would typically see. Like, it's just, the art is a little different than anything I've seen.
Like, not refined?
Not refined, I would say, but the fish are beautiful. And I love this. It's so good. It's gripping. The story is incredible so far. I've only read 11 episodes, 10 episodes, and then you have to read the daily pass. So I've got one daily pass under me. And so basically, you see that was in the first one, maybe 2 episodes that I'm describing. No, you know what? That was the first episode I'm describing. That's not even getting into the second one. So you see that there's like, it's a crisis. Like, this is an apocalypse. You see that the fish get piled up into their grate system of like dams. And so they block the water and they cause issues that way. They're like trying to get rid of these dead fish. The dead fish in the water, like they can't kill the fish. They're like, yeah, we're smarter than fish. Like, we could kill them all. But if we kill them all, we're going to ruin the water supply that way, because then there's a bunch of dead fish in the water.
Yeah.
And that ruins the water in itself. So it's just like this crazy thing. And then there's a boy who's walking down the street. His name is Dongguan. And he is just walking down the street. You see the military behind him. He is got an umbrella, but like it's not raining anymore, so he's just carrying it around. And a group of kind of bullies come up to him and they're like, hey, you said you would give me your PlayStation. So they're trying to take this poor kid's PlayStation. I mean, they're kids too.
Yeah.
They're trying to take this kid's PlayStation. The main leader of the bullies, so Don Guan, he's got like a screwdriver with him. He stabs one of the bullies, and then the fence like falls over. And Ite, who's like the main bully, was like the one who was like, you give me your PlayStation. Or you give me money to buy my own PlayStation. Which,
this guy
I mean,
think he is.
I didn't have a PlayStation.
Yeah, I didn't have a PlayStation. Get out of here.
I had a Game Boy.
Game Boy Advance. I had an Indigo one.
Look at, oh my gosh. I had the purple with the see-through, the Game Boy.
My sister had that one.
Aw.
Look at us.
But basically, so he was like, you give me a PlayStation or you give me money to buy my own PlayStation.
And he says, get lost.
And he like stabs his friend with a screwdriver. So the main bully falls over the fence. Ite. I don't know.
Ite, whatever.
And basically, you start to see him. He's literally sitting on the edge of the water. He's not even in the water. And a fish comes up and like starts to eat his legs. And then another bigger fish comes up and starts to eat the fish who's eating his legs. I mean, have you seen that meme? I don't know if it's a meme, but it's a picture of a fish eating a bigger fish, eating a bigger fish.
No.
Okay. Well, I described it. It's a fish eating a fish, eating a bigger fish.
Sounds like a great description.
And that's this comic.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the fish keep getting bigger and
Sounds
bigger
terrifying.
and bigger. It's terrifying. The fish are incredible.
I remember swimming. My grandparents lived on a lake, and I remember swimming in it, and I was like the only kid in our family who was not terrified of all of the seaweed and everything underneath the water.
Gosh.
And now I'm kind of like, maybe I should have been more terrified.
No, you shouldn't, because you're talking to the girl who grew up on the lake. Like, I was a lake baby.
I know.
And I lived in the lake. I watched the giant catfish. Like, as big as I was when I was a toddler.
To be fair, they weren't eating your legs.
Around. They weren't eating my legs. But, okay, so then, Ite, who's the bully, you kind of follow him. And you find out that, like, yeah, he's a bully, but also he's homeless. He lives on this island. Like, they've basically been... everyone who lives on this island is basically homeless. They all live in this giant area. They're just trying to survive because the fish have taken over everything. They have to... do what they can to get water and food and anything. And there's a crazy scene where they're like, what is this beach ball? It's a fish egg. It's a fish egg.
Get out.
And it looks like a beach ball. You can't see me. I'm holding my hands up to my head. It's as big as my head. And that is what the fish egg is. I mean, if you've seen sushi or caviar or anything, you know what a fish egg looks like.
Oh my gosh, never. You couldn't pay me.
It's huge. And so Itae, he's like, I have to get out of here. And so they hear that a tsunami is coming. And they're like, they live on an island outside of the city. They don't really have a way to get back to the mainland because the bridges are overflowed with water.
Oh my gosh.
And so they can't get back because the fish will eat them if they come out into the water. And so this one professor is like, I'm going to get off of this island because this typhoon is coming and like we have to go now.
Yeah.
And so Itae is like, I'm going to come with you. So he starts to go with this guy. And then they're all sleeping in this like shelter. Basically, they find this like jet ski. They call it a motorboat. It's a jet ski.
Yeah. And
the professor is like, one at a time, we're going to have to go across. Like, I'll take one person, then we come back. You take one person, we'll come back and forth.
Yeah.
2 at a time until everyone's across. There's a smaller group of people who is with this group who's like, you're not doing that. Like, you guys are going to go across. You're going to leave the rest of us behind. So he stabs the professor and like a couple of other people. And then like a smaller group of them, they go and they're like, hey, this kid's close to the professor. Like, he probably knows where the keys are. But they end up finding the keys without like bothering this kid. He pretends to be asleep and they're talking about Itae. Mm-hmm. And so they go across and then the professor, oh my gosh, it's like you love everyone and you hate everyone because you get it. Like, it's every man for himself.
Yeah.
So Itae is like going to leave the professor. The professor pulls a gun on Itae and is like, you will not leave me. Like, you have to bring me with you or I'll shoot you. And he's like about to die. And it's crazy. And so then Itae and the professor end up going through the subway under the water.
So the world is just spiraling.
So it's chaos. It's a mass chaos. I mean, it's incredible. I love it. I love it so much. It's so good. The fish, like, he gets attacked by a bunch of small baby fish, basically regular sized fish on his back. I showed you the picture.
Yes.
Of all the fish bites on his back.
It almost looks like a really, like, hyper sexualized.
It almost does, but it's fish. He was attacked by a group of fish.
Bites everywhere.
And it's incredible. I love it. It's just like, it's such a unique story.
Yeah.
Like, fish taking over the world, you love it. And they do have some real world themes of like, we didn't take care of the ocean. This is the ocean fighting back. So it's got some kind of, like modern themes of environmentalism. And if you don't take care of what we have, then eventually the world is going to fight back against you. And like, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And it's so unique. I've not seen any story like this. The art is unique. Like, the art is not for everyone. It's not polished. It's not pretty. Mm-hmm. It's kind of gritty, but it's good. It's really good. It's unique. I adore it. I've only read 11 episodes, but I adore this one.
Well, I'm super excited for you to get to read more, at least one episode every day.
Yeah.
So
I will be reading one episode every day.
I believe you on it, honestly. And actually, one of the ones that I got excited about that is a new release for November is also kind of an apocalyptic story. So next, I kind of want to talk to y'all about The End Is a Game to Me. Mm-hmm. This is, again, one that's listed on Webtoon as one of the new this week releases. This now has 7 episodes. It is an action series. And it's a release on every Saturday, so it's really nice. Like a good way to kind of just like settle into your weekend, have a relaxing little read. Except this one is kind of unhinged, so I don't know about the relaxing aspect as
More
much.
More unhinged than Giant Fish.
I don't know. I'd say it's probably in line.
It's par.
Yeah, it's on par. So essentially our story starts out with Cheonsu Go. He is a streamer. He just kind of enjoys playing video games. And he is, as they call him, a shut-in NEET. So essentially just like a nerd who is very in his own little bubble. And he has one follower on his streams.
Aww.
Like he kind of just does this for the passion of I play this game, etc.
Aww.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, we started this podcast without really the expectation of anybody listening.
Thinking like if we just listen to ourselves, that's good enough.
I know. We just love talking to each other, but now we love talking with you. So thank you so much for listening. But essentially he has one follower whose like username is only one. And he starts playing this game, gets like a 76-cent donation.
Aww.
And he's like so excited that he like loses his mind and ends up dying in the game. And essentially his one follower asks him, like, are you actually willing to continue streaming if you only have one follower? And he says, don't say that. Like, that's like a lowly number. Like, you're what keeps me going. And so only one, the user says, okay, then I've chosen you. And all of a sudden, there are these huge, like, booming sounds from outside. And he looks and, like, buildings are on fire. Like, essentially, the apocalypse has just started outside of his building. So he starts losing his mind. He has no idea what's going on. His computer's not working. His phone's not working. He runs outside and is immediately, like, face to face with a zombie.
Ooh, I love a zombie.
I know.
It's one of my favorite subgenres of horror.
I know. You love a good zombie. I know you.
Me and my zombies and the culture of fear.
I know. You did an entire class on it. So I did not, but I will say that this one does have me pretty gripped.
Yeah.
So essentially, he's like, I have no idea what to do. He runs to his building roof. He's like, no one will be up here. So he closes the door. And who does he find but his landlord, who has now been turned into a zombie?
Oh, no.
So he sees his landlord and essentially also this little like chat box that's like going on through the air that he can see like these nameless, faceless people commenting on what he's doing.
Like multiple people?
Yeah. It's almost like a chat about actively what he's doing in this world. So like it's a chat box and they're just like, oh man, he's trapped now. He made a bad decision, etc. So he sees the landlord, screams, lower my rent, and pushes him off the building. Which, if that is not the energy we're all bringing to life, I don't know what is.
I love it.
But essentially, the landlord zombie falls off of the building, and a couple of other zombies are trying to get onto the roof. They're trying to open the door, etc. And he finds, like, a supply box. So he opens it, finds a bat, and ultimately uses it to try to attack the zombies. He realizes he's weaker than usual, and he's like, I don't know why I can't do this. So he breaks part of the bat.
Is he a gym bro?
No, he's not. He's definitely just like this poor little nerdy guy who's been playing his video games. So he breaks the bat to make it sharp, and he stabs all of the zombies with the sharp end of the bat. And essentially, like, everybody in the chat is like, wow, he's really impressive. We didn't expect this from him, etc. So he goes on all these like mini adventures. He goes to his parents' house and finds out that he's gotten this buff, and he assumes he's been transported into a video game because everything that's happening is like unbelievable.
I mean, it seems very video game isekai.
Yeah, very video game isekai, but there was no like specific I died and then I came here, etc. So he's very confused as to what's going on. He goes, I'm going to go to my parents' house. He runs into these different monsters, like a hell frog and some other things. And as soon as he gets there, he runs into another guy who, his name is Mingyu, and he's just trying to like deliver food. And this poor guy is trying to hide from all the zombies. He's like, I was trying to deliver food to your parents. And so he ends up saying like, I had to ditch my moped, all this stuff. And Chiansu is just like trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And they run into this giant monster who is realistically, like, just not able to be defeated with the skill level that he has. So he ends up forcing Mingyu to make him Mapo Tofu. And unfortunately, Mingyu is captured by this giant monster and eventually just kind of eaten. And so Chiansu is by himself, but ends up using all the information he got to end up finding one of the safe houses to try to meet in at a checkpoint to meet these other people. Mm-hmm. And essentially, he finds out that his entire world has become the video game. Whoever's in charge was his one follower who has decided that he is the main character and everybody else in the entire world is an NPC to them. Like, they're just watching him. And so it's not that he was transported into a video game. It's that the entire world
has become a video game. So interesting.
So he's trying to, one, make everything interesting because he realizes he has these followers who can make donations so that he can get better supply boxes, etc.
Oh my gosh.
So he tries to like make all these moves that are very impressive. And essentially he's now given these status boxes of all of these different tasks he's supposed to achieve in order to help kind of save everybody. So it's an extremely gripping story. Again, there are only 7 episodes. And action is not usually one of the genres that I read, but I'm gripped. Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. It sounds funny.
Yes.
I love a funny story too. I don't read them as much. You know, I love a drama. I love to like have all my emotions be involved. But like this one, I mean, just you describing it has had me laughing so much. So I'm definitely going to have to read this one.
You are. And it's only 7 episodes. It's quick to catch up on. So it's definitely a nice new November release to kind of ease yourself into and get caught up so you can read it on a weekly basis.
So one that I'm excited about reading is A Tyrant's First Love, which is a romance vampire first love, which is very Twilight reminiscent, which I mean is my not childhood, that's my middle school existence.
Or adolescent existence.
Yeah. I loved Twilight when it came out. I bought the whole series so that we could watch it on your birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to me. Team Edward for life.
Team Edward. At least we're both on the same side of that. I mean, obviously.
I mean, yeah. Who's on the side of the person who claimed the baby?
No, that was weird.
It was weird.
But anyway, so A Tyrant's First Love says only she can quench his bloodlust. Dia, a servant with no memories of her past, endured years of hardship at House Knowles. When things suddenly changed, cruel Emperor Kier drags Dia to his palace and asks if she knows who she truly is. Then one night, Dia sees Kier covered in someone else's blood, begging her to ask, who is he?
I love it.
Doesn't it sound interesting?
It sounds so good.
And I love a vampire story. I mean, we love Twilight. We grew up on Twilight.
I know.
So anything that says vampire, I'm instantly drawn to it. So
I know.
I'm automatically drawn to the story. But A Tyrant's First Love, it starts on November 20th. So read along with us. This might be one that we do a total read along with.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Plus I'm waiting for like Fly Me to the Moon to come back.
Yes. Yes. We have been without any vampires recently. So we need this one to come out. The Blood Moon to come back.
Yes.
Fly Me to Moon to come back. Like we just need all the vampires to come back to us.
Please and thank you. So I appreciate it. Anyways, the last one I want to talk to you all about, which I am very much looking forward to, is actually coming out this Friday, November 10th. Happy birthday to my husband. And it is called Juliet, We're Not in Kansas Anymore. This is a romance school life story. Mm-hmm. So very excited. Hopefully it has some Salt Friend vibes, which is one of our favorites. But the description is actually written as, what's more tragic than a play by Shakespeare? As for high school junior Juliet Holiday is concerned, her real tragedy is sharing a name with such a famous character. Then along comes charming British transfer student named none other than Romeo. Did fate lead him to this small Kansas town? Pray tell, who is the real Romeo and Juliet's story?
Ooh.
So I love it. The main picture has this redheaded girl, at least for me, because you're showing a different picture for a lot of yours.
Am I? Let me see.
But for my Manta picture, it's a girl with red hair, and she has like 3 different love interests in the picture. So curious to see in Juliet, we're not in Kansas anymore, who this main character is that is potentially her love interest.
Is this your same picture?
It's a little different.
Oh, we do get a little different picture.
So
I do love that.
I know. I do love Shakespearean stories in general. I'm really excited for this one. It comes out on Friday, November 10th. So again, join us in reading along. Hopefully it releases quite a few episodes at once and we can all just kind of have something to binge together.
Yeah. A school romance is one that we don't read a lot of, but like we have read Salt Friend, which is super, super, super cute.
So sweet.
It's just, I mean, I absolutely adore the main characters. I hope this one is like that, where you just love both of the main characters, and that's, you just want to read more about them.
I know.
So I hope this is like that.
I hope so too. And honestly, again, the fact that it's tied in with Shakespeare, it just has me really excited in general.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than what we usually read. So again, thanks everybody for sticking with us during the October holiday season. We hope you had a wonderful Halloween. And moving forward, there are a lot of new and just coming back series to look forward to in November. So we hope you get to read along with us.
Yeah, and let us know what you are reading in November. If it's something on our list, off our list, we want to know everything. So anything coming out recently, anything you've been reading for a while, like we just want to know everything you're reading so that we can also read it and just binge on every series that we can get our hands on.
Yes. So absolutely always welcoming new suggestions. And thanks again for being along with us on this ride. And we hope to talk to you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.